I was reading a story, one of these wonderful stories of Neem Karoli Baba, and I'm always telling these stories. There's so many of them, and in the story, it's a true story of one of his devotees. He's a teacher, and so one of his devotees was a scientist, and his best friend, who was also a scientist, was always teasing him and saying, "Why, such an intelligent man like you, why are you taken in by these frauds, these guru frauds? And I can't believe it with your scientific views." And he couldn't understand. I was teasing him about it. And so the devotee, he just said, "Look, I don't try and convert you or anyone, so you could just leave me alone." Anyway, the guy continued teasing him about it, couldn't understand. And then one day, of course, Neem Karoli Baba comes to the city where they're living, and he's doing having a meeting nearby. And so the devotee goes to see him, and his friend decides to come along and see for himself this fraud. He assumes, this fraud who's kind of kidnapped the psyche of his great friend, and how he wants to see for himself. And so he turns up, and when Maharaji, that's the name of the teacher, Maharaji sees him, the friend, the first thing he says to him is, "Oh, welcome, you forgot to wear your locket today. You must go and put it back on." And the man is absolutely stunned, and he turns to his friend and he says, "This locket he's speaking of is a locket I was given when I had cancer many, many years ago, 20 years ago, and a very precious man gave me this locket and said, always, the man that saved me, the doctor, he said, always wear this locket as a memory that you'll always be well." And he'd worn this locket every day of his life until that moment, until that day. And it was the only day he'd forgotten ever to put it on. He'd left it in the bathroom. And that was his introduction to Maharaji. And from that moment on, he became a devotee of Maharaji. And what this makes me think about is, those in our life, we all know someone like that man. Many people in the world who are, skeptical, cynical, defensive, overly scientific, overly materialistic, to the point of view where they've forgotten, a holistic view. And it's totally understandable because of the nature of the world and how we're conditioned in this current age. So, but the point is that those people they're literally just an inch away from being awakened, from something happening that just reminds them that there's more. So it's not our job to convert them in any way. And in fact, all those people like that who have skepticism for your path, my recommendation is not to put yourself in a position where you need to be in any way defensive. So you just simply don't go there. You just simply say, "Look, this is my way. It's part of who I am," and you don't preach it or try and convert anyone or anything like that. You just, in fact, you almost go the opposite way. You almost go into small talk. You don't always have to be talking about it. This is the approach I take. I find with people that, unless they directly ask me, I will not tell them what I really do, or who I am. And they've really got to want to know. Even if I tell them, yes, I've written this book and and it's spiritual and all that, if they drop it, I don't go any further. They have to really probe if they really want to know. They really got to prove that they want to know. And then I'll open up, and if they're willing to make the time and the space, which is rare in this day and age. So I recommend that you play hard to get like that, and that you know, that's how you approach those kind of people, that you don't feel in any way pressured around them, that you enjoy their company as one human to another. You know, you just enjoy their company and surprise them by buying them a drink, or being generous, or, you know, or extending some humanity towards them. Listen to them, listen to their story, you know, without the need to have them hear yours. And then you'll gain their trust, you know, or not. But that's the approach. You know, I have these wonderful Jehovah's Witnesses. We all know them. They come to your door, and they always come to our door. And they, you know, I also think they must be very lonely to keep going to people's doors, strangers. And they're very lonely because they feel that they have a message that they need to convert others to. And they, you know, to be fair to them, they're very gentle about how they approach. But they still approach, and I'm always very open to them coming, and I talk to them a little bit and try not to scare them off too much. And they give me these things, and this is where I'm going to finish it today, because sometimes, you know, there's great value that, you know, these little things that they have. And I always skim through them and read them. And there's a really nice one on here from the Bible, from Psalm 37. And, you know, I'm not a Christian in that sense, but I am a follower and a devotee of Christ for sure, and many other teachers. Just a little while longer, and the wicked will be no more. You will look at where they were, and they will not be there. But the meek will possess the earth, and they will find exquisite delight in the abundance of peace.